opened Buckingham Palace 3 years ago to help pay for the fire damage to Windsor Castle, they were deluged. Thousands of visitors poured through the gates. The palace was onto a winner. It raked in millions from the sale of tickets and limited edition souvenirs, including these porcelain mugs. But the company that produced the bestsellers from this small factory in Stoke says the palace left it with a memento nobody would want, £100,000 of debt.
I'm too much of a lady to say what I really think. I think the word to use is shabby. I think it's really shabby. Hated.
I think the palace is used to getting its own way.
How would you describe the attitude that you think Buckingham Palace has shown toward Brenda?
Arrogant disregard.
For Brenda Graves, it was a storm over teacups. When palace officials rang to ask her to supply china for the summer opening, she was flattered. A fan of the Queen, she'd produced other porcelain for royal birthdays and anniversaries in the past. This time around, she says she ended up in the red because she helped out the palace at short notice when they miscalculated the amount of stock they'd need.
You would have thought anybody would have realised that the first time Buckingham Palace was opened, and with all the tourists, it's obviously going to be mega.
Anybody, maybe, but not the palace.
I want to give it to my dear mother. She's 88 in New Zealand, and she would love that.
The palace asked Brenda to make 4 deliveries in the 2-month sales season. Its commercial arm, Royal Collection Enterprises, has admitted underestimating the demand. It was out by a royal mile.
They rang me at 12 o'clock on Friday, the day before it opened, to say the press had bought all that we'd taken down, and could we send some more? We then delivered another lot on Friday night, which was delivered first for the opening on Saturday morning. And at 12 o'clock on the Saturday, they rang me to say they'd sold it all. And from that on, every day, we delivered.
And delivered for 56 days, including Sundays. Brenda produced 4 times the original order, and still the palace was short.
At the end of the day, they were rationing. There they were supposed to be making money, and they were rationing the number of items people could buy because they just didn't have enough stock. It was a real mess-up.
What position do you think that Buckingham Palace would have been in if when they came to you, you had said, I'm sorry, I can't?
They would have simply, there was nobody else who could have done it. They would have been in a terrible mess. They wouldn't have had anything to sell.
Do you think they were bumbling in any way?
Oh, in their business activities, yes, they were. But it wasn't just bumbling, they were incompetent.
So just how attractive are these mugs?
We're not asking a princely sum, sir. No king-size ransoms. Not a tenner, not a fiver, not even one.
Our own Royal Mugs giveaway on a rainy Monday did more business than the local ice cream man, though we weren't looking for a profit.
Beautiful. No from Buckingham Palace.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Yeah. Take it over to your wife.
Brenda does admit she was a bit of a mug herself. The money she earned from the palace for each extra item stayed the same as under the original order, but her production costs to staff and subcontractors went through the roof. Double time.
And we worked Saturdays, Sundays round the clock.
Yep, that's double time.
I normally start at 9 a.m, but was having to come in at 4 a.m. to help with the packing.
Ouch, more double time.
You'd phone up every day, can we have some more, can we have some more?
Effectively, you bailed out the palace in a very tight spot.
Well, we wanted to.
How much did that leave you in debt for those extra work costs?
We claimed for over 100,000 because that's what it cost us. And as yet, they haven't agreed to pay me for the extra cost.
Brenda's goods helped the palace make a mint. In just 8 weeks, it made more than £2 million profit. Most of the money came from tickets, but close on a half came from the souvenirs. What the palace made went towards the Queen's share of restoring burnt-out Windsor Castle to its former glory. So how did Brenda's factory in Stoke come out short? We checked with her accountants, who said the firm was stung by higher production costs out of kilter with those in previous years. Costs incurred by doing the work in double-quick time. The palace declined an interview, but gave us a statement saying, no mention of additional costs was made until May 1995, some 20 months after the 1993 summer opening.
Did the palace understand that you had incurred extra work and overtime and all these double shifts?
Well, they must have done. I did mention to the retail manager, I said, look, you do realise this is what it's costing. He said, well, yes, don't worry about it. Let's just get on and get the stuff in and we'll sort you out when it's finished. And of course, I accepted their word.
The palace also said, unexpected demand led to substantial further orders being placed, but at no stage was a variation in price requested by either party.
Wasn't that really a bit naive in
Of
what
course
is
it was.
a quite big business not to get
It
anything
was.
in writing?
Of course it was, but then you were dealing with the palace. So you know, and the people who all worked for the palace, so you had no doubts that you would get paid.
I think the honourable thing would be for them to make a fair settlement with her. And one recognised that she was naive in business terms.
So how did we wind up with these mugs to give away?
Palace mugs, There's a final twist to Brenda's story. The palace started out with too few mugs, but it ended up with too many. Somebody overordered, and guess who was left with them on her plate?
Yes, Brenda. The palace will buy her mug mountain only if she drops her claim for the extra costs of the souvenir rush job.
She bailed them out, and at the end of the day, she's lost out.
We really did do as much as anybody could have hoped for. And we backed them all the way. And I just feel hurt, really, I suppose, is what I'm saying. I'm disappointed and I'm hurt.
To collectors, the mugs are actually worth £20 each, but don't write in because we've only got this one left. That's it from Here and Now for this week. We're back next Wednesday. Join us then. Good night.